Well, I've had several people tell me they're seeing problems with their blackberries. They have some discoloration in their leaves, and since I'm having it too, maybe we should talk about it. So these are my blackberries. These are some of my blackberries. These are, in particular, these are Prime Arc Freedom. And they look great. I mean, they look from a distance. It's kind of like an old car. I call it a 20-footer. From 20 feet away, they look pretty good. But when you get close, you see some dead leaves, dead canes, entire canes that have either completely died or have died back to at least that point right there, a little green right there. I'm finding that in these blackberries, these Prime Arc Freedoms. I'm not seeing it very much in the other blackberries I have over there, which are the Ponca blackberries. I don't think I've seen much in that, but let me just show you, let me tell you what I think is going on here. We had a good spell of cooler weather, days in the 80s, mid 80s, maybe even high 80s, for about a week or two, and I stopped watering these. I water these most every day, and I stopped watering these except for, I think it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 days a week. And after about a week of that, I started seeing this. So I'm just wondering, I just don't think they need watering every dadgum day. Now the problem was it got hot again. We started getting temps again in the 90s, 95, and I don't remember changing my Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule because I just didn't figure they were vigorously growing. They're not putting out fruit, they're not putting out blooms right now, and really they should be. This time of year I normally get a few blackberries, not many, but a few off the primocanes. But they're not putting out blackberries, so I really didn't figure they needed all that water every day. And it could very well be that I just wasn't watering enough. And, you know, just definitely saw some kill off, some die off here. And see, that cane looks pretty good, but then you just got one or two laterals off that cane that just, leaves just curled up and died. So I don't know, but here's something else interesting. This looks like it's dead. Looks like, you know, the first 12 inches of it is dead, and then you get right there and you see life. So it could very well be, I hate to trim these back because if I see it turn brown like that, you know, goes from green to brown, that tells me, typically tells me, I need to cut it, you know, cut it back where the green stops. But I'm getting some life here, so I don't know whether I'll do that. I probably won't. I may nip it back here, but I don't think I'll go all the way down to the green. I think I'll see what that little old dude right there is going to do. So the point is, make sure, even though it's not August, not July, August, it's not hot summertime, make sure you're watering your blackberries. I felt like I was watering them enough, but that's the only thing I can see that changed as far as on my part, and that's that I stopped watering them just every day. Now these containers hold 2.5 to 3 gallons of water, so I was watering them probably on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I was watering them for 90 minutes, which at 2 gallons per hour puts 3 gallons in them. So it should have, Monday, Wednesday, Friday should have filled them up. Then on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I was watering for about 1 hour, which would have given them 2 gallons. And I just felt like I was keeping them all up. So then when I changed to just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then I don't know, it just didn't seem like enough to make sure they're full, and they should have been. I was checking the emitters, making sure the emitters were working properly, putting out enough water, and I just felt like 2 gallons every other day or 3 days a week was enough. And when it turned warm again, and it did for a couple of weeks, that just wasn't enough for them, and I would have certainly thought so. So I haven't fertilized yet. I'm going to fertilize. We've actually got a frost probably. You want me to get down to maybe 34 in 2 days? So we got a little frost coming, so I'm going to go ahead and fertilize now, and I'll water from the top. I'll fertilize on top, and then I'm going to water from the top to wet that fertilizer down, and get that fertilizer started. And that'll be my last fertilization of the year. I think that's enough. That'll give them some something to eat on all winter long. They go dormant, but they don't go just, all the leaves fall off dead dormant all the time. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them will lose most of their leaves. Some of them will lose most of their leaves. Some of them will lose all their leaves. But they'll turn purple some, and you know, you never know what you're going to get. Now those, if I remember right, the poncas last year lost all their leaves. If I remember right, I'll have to go back and look. But we're going into winter, so give your blackberries probably one more little dose. I'm gonna give them 10-20-10. And I've had a lot of people say how hard it is to find 10-20-10, so I'm gonna do a video pretty soon about how to make 10-20-10. But give them a little fertilizer to help them get through the winter, and then I think you'll be okay. You know, I've lost a few canes. Sometimes some of them look like whole canes were lost, and some of them look just like just a few of the laterals were lost. So, and again, they may come back like that one's doing. I don't know. But thought I'd give you a little warning about making sure they're watered. And even in the winter time, even though they do go dormant, if you've got a dry winter, if you're in containers, now if you're in the land, it's probably not necessary, but if you're in containers and you've got a dry winter like we had last year, I nearly lost an orange tree last year, and that's because orange trees really don't go dormant. These go pretty much dormant, but if you're not getting any rain during the winter, you might want to even think about watering them in the wintertime. That's just one of the problems of having blackberries in containers. I like having them in containers. There's a lot more benefit, in my opinion, for the small scale person of having them in containers than there is if you than having them in the ground. And I'm gonna do a video on that soon, but not today. Anyway, water them, feed them. Water them, feed them. And this should be probably your last feeding for the year, for the winter. If you're like most people, your blackberries are fixing to go dormant, fixing to go to sleep for the winter, then you probably don't need to fertilize, but just this one more time. Now, some of you up north are really fixing to get hit with some cold weather, and maybe, I don't know whether it would be beneficial for you to fertilize now or not. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, this is what I got going, and the poncas look good. The ones that survived, I got a few I showed you before that just didn't make it. But the ones that survived well. They're doing well, and we'll get some of those good ponca berries next year. Water, and then fertilize, maybe one last time, one last fertilization for the winter, going into the winter. All right, I think that's it. We're gone.